in the past 30 minutes. You'll see the number of users, as well as insights like their geographic location and what devices are being used. Some common insights you can gain from this report include checking whether a one-day promotion is driving traffic to your site or app, monitoring the immediate effects of traffic from a blog or a social network post, or seeing whether new or updated content on your site impacts traffic. If you don't see any data in your real-time report, it's possible there are no active users. Note that real-time app data may be delayed to conserve phone battery or because a user's phone was offline. Under the lifecycle reports are sections for acquisition, engagement, and monetization. Since we've already covered overview and detail reports, as well as acquisition reports, let's jump to engagement. Google Analytics has 4 types of engagement reports. These are the Events Report, Conversions Report, Pages and Screens Report, and the Landing Page Report. Just like the other sections, the Engagement Overview Report is made up of individual cards that summarize engagement data from the other 4 engagement reports. Now, let's run through each of the detailed engagement reports. The Events Report shows how many times each event is triggered and how many users trigger each event on your website or your app. By analyzing the events users trigger, you can make improvements to the user experience and increase conversions. The Conversions Report shows information about each conversion event. The Pages and Screens Report shows which pages on your website and screens on your app get visits and engagement. You can view this data by page title and screen name, or select another dimension, such as the page path, to look at the engagement with pages or screens. Finally, you have the Landing Page Report, which shows the first page a visitor lands on when they visit your website and how many visitors land on each page. The next section under Lifecycle Reports is Monetization. This group of reports will provide data about purchases made on your website or your app. Additionally, if you have an app that includes ads, you'll see the revenue associated with each advertisement. The Monetization Overview Report contains cards that show a summary of data similar to the other overview reports. The eCommerce Purchases Report provides detailed information about the products or services you sell if you run an e-commerce store. If you are an e-commerce business, this report is important to be able to analyze your purchase data. The data in this report comes from recommended events for e-commerce businesses, so make sure that you set up these events correctly to show data in this report. The final 2 reports under monetization are specifically for apps, so let's switch over to the Floodit demo property. The first report is the in-app purchase report. This report will show information about purchases made inside your app. And finally, we see the Publisher Ads report that will provide engagement and revenue data associated with advertisements that run in your app. Let's move back over to the Google Merchandise Store property and have a look at the last report under the Lifecycle section, the Retention Overview Report. This report is made up of cards that summarize user retention data on your website or your app. The Retention Overview card shows new and returning users. User retention by cohort shows how well your site or app retains users by cohort. A cohort is a collection of users who are grouped by some criteria, such as their first visit date. The User Engagement by Cohort card shows the average amount of time users engaged on your site or your app after they were first acquired. In this case, the cohort is the day that the users were acquired. At the bottom, you'll find the Lifetime Value card. This shows the average revenue generated by new users over their first 120 days. This chart can help determine the value of users based on the total revenue they generate over time. For example, a user purchases a shirt and then purchases pants the following week. Lifetime value, or LTV, would include both purchases, indicating the overall success of the customer acquisition. These are users you could then target with further advertising or promotions. Another section under reports is the user section. Here, you'll find the demographic and tech reports, which give you insight into the characteristics of users visiting your website or your app. The demographics report classifies users by age, location, language, gender, and the interests they express through browsing and purchase activities. Demographics data populates the report automatically as people use your website or your app. You can get more holistic demographic and interest data by turning on Google Signals. Google Signals are session data from sites and apps that Google associates with users who have signed into their Google accounts and who have turned on ads personalization. This association of data with these signed-in users is used to enable cross-device reporting, cross-device remarketing, and cross-device conversion export to Google Ads. For example, you can see how users browse products on your site from a phone and later return to complete purchases from a tablet or a laptop. For mobile app activity only, analytics derives demographic and interest data from the Android advertising ID and the iOS identifier for advertisers. When the device advertising ID is not present, analytics can't provide this data. This means that demographic and interest data may only be available for a subset of your users and may not represent all of your traffic. The Demographic Details Report is a table report with many dimensions of demographic data available to analyze. By default, the report opens with the country dimension set as the default dimension, but you can use the drop-down menu to select any one of a number of primary dimensions to look at in this table. Now, let's look at the tech reports. They help you identify the technology that people use to access your website or your app, including things like their browser, screen resolution, app version, and operating system. Just like the demographics overview, you'll see a number of cards on the tech overview report that represent users by device or operating system. Next, we have the tech details report. Similar to the demographic details report, the tech details report is a table report with many dimensions of tech data available to analyze. By default, the report opens with the browser dimension set as the default dimension, but you can use the drop-down menu to select from several different primary dimensions, including things like device category, screen resolution, and more to look at in this table. As you can see, these reports will help you understand your users a lot better. You can identify trends and look for opportunities to reach more customers.
Thank you. I understand the reporting issue. This
I know.
this part already we discussed from our last pilot project. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nazwan, one second. I need to send a message. 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, sorry, back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's too much information. I don't really catch a lot of this stuff that they say. I mean, I try to follow it, but it's a lot at once.
Yes, it is a lot, but it is very important to analyze the data. Okay. From this event, you can analyze the demographic report, the e-commerce report, and the event-based report also. Okay.
Okay.
So from this part is very important to analyze the data. So if you analyze the data, you have to know this part perfectly, and according to the your business goal, you can set up the dashboard. Not only from this part, you can also active the others part from the setting option. Okay. Hope we will know everything in the next tutorial. Okay. Now complete this one and fulfill the quiz. Scroll
Okay.
down. This one. And the question calculate to mark the lesson complete. The ways of the flowing is not in put you would find when visiting before left navigation or appendix.
Probably this one.
Yeah.
Google Analytics
Yes.
doesn't really call anything a funnel. That's a ClickFunnels
Yes.
term.
Okay. Back to the previous tab and refresh it. And
So slow. This website sucks. So do you work hands-on with Google Analytics for right now? What do you use this for right now in your personal work?
again, please.
You work within Google Analytics, right? Like what do you do? What do you use Google Analytics for in your day-to-day work that you do?
Yes, I use Google Analytics and I also learn from daily from the Google Analytics many a paid course. Okay. This is very deep and updated.
Okay.
All reports in Google Analytics are made up of dimensions and metrics. Remember that a dimension is an attribute of your data described with text. For example, an event name, which shows the name of an event that a user triggered on your website or app, such as login. A metric is a quantitative measurement, which you can apply mathematical operations to, like count of, average, or percentage. For example, the event count shows the total number of times that an event has been triggered. The specific dimension and metrics in each report can vary. Some are populated automatically when you install Google Analytics on your website or app. Others require some configuration before they're populated. Report filters allow you to see a subset of the data in a report using your dimension values. For example, you can filter for website traffic and hide all app traffic from a report. You can apply filters to detail reports, custom detail reports, the real-time report, and summary cards. Let's apply a filter to the traffic acquisition report. Click the Add Filter at the top of the report. This will give you the option to choose data to include or exclude. When you are choosing a dimension, only dimensions that have dimension values appear in the list. Google Analytics will gray out a dimension if it's incompatible with other dimensions in a report. Let's say we want to only see data for users in the United States and Canada. We'll choose the country dimension and then select United States and Canada from the dropdown. Apply the filter to the report and you'll see the information for users in the United States and Canada. You can see active filters at the top of the report. You can edit the filter by clicking on it, and if you like, you can choose additional conditions, up to 5 conditions per filter. Or if you want to remove the filter altogether, click on the X to delete it. Note that Analytics will remove the filter when you leave the report. If you want to go a little deeper in your analysis, you can apply a comparison to your report. Comparisons enable you to evaluate subsets of your data side by side. For example, you could compare data across different countries, or compare the difference between Android and iOS users. Let's stay in the traffic acquisition report, and instead of filtering the data to only show the United States and Canada, let's instead add a comparison. Click the Add Comparisons icon at the top of the report. The menu should resemble what we saw when we built our filter. In this case, we'll select the country dimension again and select the United States and Canada. Apply the comparison and we'll see two color-coded data sets at the top of the screen. All users, which will include all of your data, and the new comparison, which will include only the data from the United States and Canada. Comparison definitions appear at the top of your reports and remain in effect when you switch reports unless they are not compatible with the data in that report. For example, if you move over the user acquisition report, you'll see the same comparison carry over. If the report you're looking at doesn't include one of the dimensions from the condition, then a blank card appears for that comparison. In this case, choose a different dimension for the condition or remove it altogether. Similar to our filter, if we want to edit the comparison, we can click on it or click on the X if you want to remove it.
Okay, are you understand? If you want to analyze your data and you create customize your report, you can easily determine using fix this issue using the dimension and metrics. Okay. They mentioned that if you want to comparison report or edit your report according to the country based, you use the dimension country. Okay. Dimension means the text basis, and the analytical report like per sentence or the data is the metrics actually. And you can compare the suppose two data, your as usual data and your custom data. You can see the comparison option, and it show with different color. Okay. And if you want this custom report, you can save, and you also show on the left side dashboard, okay, of Google Analytics. This is the summary. And when your business owner want to know the business summary or the decisions for previous activities of your user, you can easily edit the report, default report, and you can create the custom report, okay, using this option.
Okay.
Okay, complete this part. You can see the overview of the text. It is very effective. Just a blow. This is the comparison report, and let's do the filter data. Okay, you can create the filter data for the reporting section and compare data text to each other, and you can see the different color already. And you can see the different graph also when you add the comparison. Okay, scroll down. And this customers data you can share. Mm, okay, now scroll down and answer the questions and answer the question and one lesson. And select.
It's either this one or this one.
Mm, the last one.
Actually, it could.
Last one, dimension and matrix value maybe.
What is the dimension?
Dimension means if I go to the example, country is the dimension. Okay. And metrics is the how many people visit this country. Suppose
Mm.
a report.
Dimension is the category. Metrics is the number of people, number of visitors,
Yes.
number of traffic.
Yeah.
Got it. So you can filter by dimension or metric values. So what would be an example of a metric value? Like its dimension
Okay.
would be like
Scroll up.
USA, and
Scroll up.
metric value would be 300 people from USA visited.
Yes.
So 300 would be the metric value.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay. That's dimension value. That's dimension value.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
Next.
The default reports in Google Analytics help you monitor key business metrics. But Google Analytics has another great tool for even deeper analysis called Explore. Explore is a collection of advanced analysis techniques that go beyond standard reports to uncover more insights about customer behavior. Explorations, which are the reports you can build within Explore, give you access to data and analytical techniques that aren't available in standard reports, such as funnels and pathing. You can use explorations to explore data in depth and answer complex questions. Explore can help you to do things like quickly perform ad hoc queries, easily configure and switch between techniques, sort, refine, and drill down into the data. Focus on the most relevant data by using things like filters, segments, and breakdowns, and create segments and audiences. Let's start by showing you around. Click Explore in the main left nav. You'll have the option to start a new exploration from scratch, or a template, or open in an existing report. Let's open the freeform report template. You'll see 3 distinct areas from left to right. First, you have the variables pane. This panel gives you access to the dimensions, metrics, and segments that you can use in an exploration. You can also change the time frame of the exploration here and give it a name. Next, you have the tab settings pane. Use this panel to configure the whiteboard area on the canvas. You can select the technique, add items from the variables panel, and configure technique-specific options. We'll come back to techniques in just a moment. You can also use this tab to compare segments, select breakdowns and values, and apply filters. And finally, the canvas, which is this large area that displays all of your data. The canvas can have multiple tabs, letting you use multiple techniques in a single exploration. Let's click the Explore button to return to the main exploration page so we can review the various techniques that are available. First is the freeform exploration. This technique gives you the freedom to explore your data with several different types of visualization styles, including tables, bar charts, pie charts, line charts, scatter plots, and geomaps. The funnel exploration will help you visualize the steps users take to complete tasks on your site or your app, and see how you can optimize the user experience and identify over or underperforming audiences. The path exploration will help you visualize the paths that users take as they interact with your website or your app. The segment overlap report shows you how different user segments relate to each other. You can use this technique to identify new segments of users who meet complex criteria. The cohort exploration helps you look at the behavior and performance of groups of users related by common attributes. And the user lifetime technique allows you to explore user behavior and value over their lifetime as a customer. You also have the option to start from a blank template, which will open up an exploration with nothing populated in the variables or the tab settings pane. It's a blank canvas to build from. Let's dive in and create an exploration together. To start, you can create an exploration from a blank canvas or from a template. Let's choose the blank exploration. When you land in a blank exploration, everything will appear empty. This is as expected. Let's start by adding some dimensions and metrics to the variables pane so we have something to work with. Click the plus icon next to dimensions to add some dimensions to the variables pane. This will open a slide out list of all of the dimensions available in Explore. Let's add page path and screen class, device category, and session source medium, and then hit import. This isn't an exhaustive list of the dimensions we may want to use, but these are some pretty typical dimensions that you may end up using, and you can always add more later if needed. Next, we'll want to add some metrics. Click the plus icon next to metrics to add some to the variables pane. Again, this will open up a slide out with all of the metrics available in Explore. Let's add views, sessions, and active users, and then hit import. Again, this list isn't exhaustive, but it's a good starting point for the dimensions that we've chosen, and you can always add more later if needed. To build a report, you'll need to double-click or drag and drop dimensions and metrics from the variables pane to the tab settings pane. For this example, let's add page path and screen class as the dimension, and views, sessions, and active users as the metrics. You can quickly add these by double-clicking the tile for each. This will result in a simple table on the canvas. Next, let's break down this report by adding the device category dimension. If we double-click the dimension name, it will be added to the rows area of the tab settings pane, and will break down each row by the device used. This is the same behavior as if you added a secondary dimension in a standard report in the reporting UI. For another view of this data, you can add the device category dimension to the column section of the tab settings pane. To do this, drag and drop the tile for device category to the column section. This will create a new column for each device category, which shows the breakdown of views, sessions, and active users for each category. Note that this is a more consolidated view of this data than if we had added the device category dimension to the row section. And for dimensions with only a few values, such as device category, it may be a better way to view your data. Next, let's explore the filter functionality. To add a filter, scroll to the bottom of the tab settings pane and click into the dashed box to drag or select a dimension or metric. For this example, let's create a filter for the session source medium exactly matches Google Organic and hit apply. This will filter all of the data in the report to only include data that has a session source medium of Google Organic. Lastly, let's explore the segments functionality. To create a new segment, hit the plus icon next to segments in the variables pane. This will open up the segment builder, where you can choose from suggested segments, such as recently active users or purchasers, predictive segments, such as likely 7-day purchasers, create a segment from a template, such as demographics or technology, or create a custom segment from scratch. Let's choose the demographics template to quickly create a segment for country ID exactly matches US. Give this segment a name of US traffic and hit Save and Apply. This will segment the data in our report to only show us data that matches a country ID of US.
This section is also important for the data analysis. And to create custom report using the Explore section, you can create the panel, you can create the free form and others templates. And here is important to know about the dimension and metrics. Okay. You can choose the dimension and metrics, and in the left sidebar when you drag and drop, or you can create double click, then the report will show on the right sidebar, and you can filter it using the country or other dimension, and you can also create the segment. Okay.
Okay.
Actually, it is very important to create the analysis data for a specific goal-based or the country-based or the target-based report. Okay.
Okay.
It is not a by default report. You have to create it according to your business goal.
Okay. This is basically, custom reports.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And from this section, you also create the funnel. Okay.
So Google calls it a funnel?
Yes, you can create the funnel like this. How many people land your website, and suppose 100 people land your website, and 70% people of 70 people of 100 people are go to the add to cart, and 30 people go to the checkout, and just 10 people completed the purchase. Okay. You can show the graph, this funnel. Okay. From this section, you can create a funnel like this.
Okay. Okay, brother. 1 second. I have to use the bathroom. Oh. Okay, back.
Okay. To also read this option, it is very important to know the exploration report. Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay. Scroll down.
Yeah, hold on one second.
This is the template, exploration template free from here. You can create the report and that you want your business goal. You can select the tab and the dimension and metrics. Then you can select it, the plus button, and
Okay.
export it. Okay, and the funnel exploration. This is the report you can create in the final report. Okay, and the next one is the path exploration. Path exploration means the deep details of the funnels, like event finally passes occurred, which process. Okay, you can see from here a user which will visit and how many time they spent, and at a time how many events they triggered. You can see the path, their browsing path. You can analyze this from here, and finally the save and share the exploration. After creating this exploration report, you can save and you can share. When you save it, and you can show the left sidebar as a custom report. Okay, scroll down. And you can duplicate it, and slightly you can edit again, and you can suppose you create an exploration report for USA based visitor data. You can duplicate it and just edit the country code, US to UK, and you can save again. So it saves your time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Scroll down. But metrics and dimension is the tricky part. Okay. Some option seems that it is metrics or different, very complicated. Okay. So when you go through from the report, you can determine, okay,
Okay.
which one is metric and dimension. Okay. And actually, metric and dimension comes from when you set up the tracking, and you can you can send the parameter, okay, like user ID or country code, this type of parameter you will send on your tracking. You also create from there the custom dimension and metrics. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, scroll down. Looks the device category, desktop, mobile, tablet, etc. Looks the country 1, country 2, country 3. When you create this exploration report, and you can find out easily, just this is the this type of report, and it will very helpful for your business analysis. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, show what you know, answer the question correctly to the mark, you're complete. Okay. Okay, a business owner opens, explore, and choose the free from the template at the top of the page. Once there, she added the dimension and metrics she want to see her table. Drag and drop each item into the correct box. Okay.
Yeah.
You can drag and drop.
Yeah, hold on. I'm reading. These two could go either place, really. It doesn't matter how you flip this the spreadsheet, right? You could have country on the rows, and you can have device category and columns. I think either can go in either spot. It's all about
You go.
rotating the chart, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know if I'm supposed to put this here or put that here or what, but let's just put something. Let's
You
just
scroll up
say-
and scroll up, and you can take solution from device category. Yeah.
But do you see what I'm saying? Like this can go here too,
Yeah.
because you can
Okay.
just turn the spreadsheet to the side, and it'll be like this and this will be switched.
That's right. The concept is right.
How much longer you want to go?
Okay, already